Hello everybody and welcome to the companion video. This is companion to the post which was most recent, entitled Rivington Terraced Gardens. So this one is a little bit more advanced and generally targeted at C1. We have vocabulary, idioms and grammar from authentic English that I did use. Remember, these are not scripted, so it's my natural English commenting as I go along. Okay, so let's set the scene. It was a walk in Rivington. It was an exploration of the historic Rivington Terraced Gardens, indeed, in Lancashire. Remember, it is on the outskirts of Bolton in a place or region called Horwich. So the features were waterfalls. That was indeed the main feature. However, there was a stone bridge at the apex or the very top and steep wooded paths. I did use a mix of descriptive, reflective, and informal narrative styles, and they just sort of blend in and out, and it's just a natural mix. So again, nothing was planned. But it is genuinely authentic British English with a focus on nature and personal experience. Okay, look at the quote at the bottom. This is something I did say. It was just by happenstance that I came across this beautiful waterfall. And it was. Okay. So let's have a look at some adjectives that we can start with. We have 4 ones here, one of which, in fact, the first one was serene. So this is the one that I have introduced in a previous lesson. The pronunciation again is serene. So what does it mean? It's a peaceful, calm, and untroubled scene, usually. So I quote, "It's so nice and quiet and serene. That's my thing." This is a quote from the video. Perhaps you remember it. And number 2, I did use the fantastic word. It's such a good word. Trepidatious. Again, trepidatious. So we have trepidatious. And the syllable with the intonation is the 3rd syllable. Trepidatious. What does it mean? It's describing when you're feeling fear or anxiety about something that may happen. Okay, and I said I was feeling a bit trepidatious about climbing any further. And you'll see why in the video, or at least I explain it further. Number 3, in relation to water and the sound it was making, it was extremely loud, like thunder, so I described it as being thunderous. Thunderous. And number 4 is quite informal language. I think I said, oh yes, I did see some pretty hairy things around the corner. And I said I wasn't going to include them. It was essentially a sheep that had died and was decomposing, but you don't want to see it. Trust me. It was a bit traumatizing. But the word was hairy. It was a hairy scene. You can describe something as hairy. Of course, it is the same spelling as a hairy person, for example, or a hairy thing. Okay, so it means alarming, difficult, or indeed dangerous. Let's have a look at some idioms, phrasal verbs that I've used in action, so to speak. The first one of which is skirting the boundaries. Skirting the boundaries. What does it mean? I was being on the edge of something, avoiding the center. Yes, I was avoiding the central path, I believe it was, as I progressed up to the apex of the waterfall. I said, I'm really skirting the boundaries of Rivington Garden itself. Okay, yes, I remember now. So I was skirting the boundaries of Rivington, not the waterfall. That's what I was describing. So I was avoiding the centre, not intentionally as it happened. It was accidental, but I ended up skirting the boundaries of Rivington Garden itself. This can be used literally or figuratively, but we'll talk about the figurative application in another lesson perhaps. So the second idiom is off the beaten track. Now this is quite a common one. Any C1 student I would have thought would know this. But to review, in a place where few people go, or remote, so it's a remote path. And I say, once you get off the beaten track, there's barely anyone around. The next is sidetracked. So I actually say in the video, I got sidetracked here and was staring up here. And it really means to be distracted from the main task you're trying to achieve. Okay, so if a parent is describing to their child how they should work, they should say, please don't get sidetracked. And number 4, languished. Languished. What does it mean? To stay in a pleasant place for a long time. I was describing the fact that I could have languished on that bridge for a long time. And I think I even said I would happily have eaten my lunch up there and hung around for about half an hour. But I was on a mission and I wanted to move on because I was shooting a video for you. So I did not languish on the bridge. Great. Some more idioms that I used. The first one of which is the money shot. The money shot. So in a video, it's usually used in post-production or video production. You know, it's all about the money shot, meaning that this is the scene that everybody wanted to see. And the actual definition might be something like, it is the most important or visually impressive part. I think the money shot in my video was essentially a close-up of the top of the waterfall. So I do talk about the second idiom. I said, in my book. In my book. It's a very common and very good phrase to use. If you're doing an exam, for example, and you really want to sound natural and not necessarily British, just native, then I would use this. I strongly recommend it. In my book. It is a way to express your opinion. You are saying, it is my opinion that. Okay? Or according to my standards. It's a very good expression or idiom. Okay, I also say I was on a mission. I was on a mission. So, when I was just talking about languishing on the bridge, I said I must move on. I must not languish because I'm on a mission to shoot a video for you. So, what does it mean? It means I was determined to get my mission done. I was determined to do what I set out to do. And then I said, by happenstance. By happenstance. This means just by chance or coincidence. Some really good idioms there, definitely worth writing down, going over, reviewing the definition, and make sure that you practice these in context. Okay, but they do have collocations. On and by go with these two and nothing else. So you can't say by a mission to say you are determined. It must be I'm on a mission. You can't say in happenstance. It must be by happenstance. Okay, let's have a look at collocations then. Remember, collocations are words that really go nicely. Oh, excuse me, that really go nicely together. For example, the first one, stunning scenery. Okay, these two words are heavily collocated. The word stunning is often paired with the word scenery. And what does it mean? It means, of course, extremely beautiful natural views and scenery and surroundings. So, stunning and scenery, they go together. They're strongly collocated. All of these are. So, go to the next one down, which was power was drained. Okay, so when we talk about power, you can talk about the power draining. The word draining and power are very strongly collocated. Okay, what does it mean when your device or maybe a battery has no charge left, no electricity? Okay, my power was drained. You can also say that in reference to a human, but the word would be energy more than power. My energy was drained. Genuinely lost. So, truly and completely unable to find your way. Genuinely lost. So, genuinely and lost together are well collocated. You can say completely lost. That's also a very strong collocation. Entirely lost, and so on. But genuinely often is paired with lost. And the last one was a bit of random French for you, but it is French that is or has been subsumed into the natural paradigm of English speaking. And apologies, my French is not so good, but the pronunciation is something like this. The pièce de résistance. The pièce de résistance. If you are going to say it, do try and sound French, because an English speaker will try and pronounce it correctly, although the French might disagree. What does it mean? It means the most important, I beg your pardon, or remarkable feature of something, the pièce de résistance. Okay, learning these things, these collocations, as chunks improves fluency dramatically. That's very important. Okay, if you want to advance in your grading particularly, but your fluency and cohesion, learn language chunks. It really helps. Collocations that are fixed really help. And language chunks of words together really help improve fluency dramatically. Informal British English that I used, some slang here a little bit. Some of you might be interested in this. If you can use slang, of course, it shows that you are edging closer towards native language. But you must use it in the right way. A bad effort at using slang is not going to help with your score in an exam or is not going to impress anybody. It's like you tried and failed. So you must get it right. I said mooching, number one. What does it mean? It's actually a very common word in the UK, and it means wandering around slowly without much purpose. And I said there are a few people milling around, mooching from place to place. Okay, milling around is another expression, a collocation that is essentially a synonym for mooching. So you've got milling around and people are mooching around or mooching from place to place. They are moving, wandering slowly. They don't necessarily have a purpose. They're not charging towards a destination. They're just wandering about, milling around, mooching around. Okay, what have you? Number 2 is really important. Let's get it right, okay? And it is indeed used at the end of a list. Okay, I could say, had my lunch, or I did say, had my lunch, and what have you, and just enjoyed the surroundings. Okay, this is not a list, this is just part of the quote, but I'll give you a more detailed example. I decided to take a break. I fixed my shoes because they were hurting. I did this, I did that, I had lunch, and what have you, and just enjoyed the surrounding. So what have you means and other similar things. It's kind of like etc. Okay? Number 3. There you go. Used when something is finished or to accept a situation. It probably doesn't qualify as a rock pool, but there you go. So I highly recommend these. If you can use these accurately, then you are going to sound like you're quite advanced. I can promise you that, because it's really native speakers that use these expressions and sort of a language that really makes us sound native, and it will make you sound native too. And number 4, any moment, meaning very soon, used to build anticipation in a narrative. So yes, I'm using the narrative style quite often because I'm describing things to you, and I was building anticipation. I said, you'll see me approach it any moment. And often it is followed by any moment now. That's when you're really close to something happening. So that's very soon. If you have any questions about these and you want more examples, do let me know. Comment. So let's have a look at some grammatical structures that are used. This structure is having and past participle with a main clause following it. So the structure shows one action was completed before the action in the main clause started. Okay, it's a good idea for C1 fluency. A formal, sophisticated alternative to after or because. Look at the second example there. Having bought them a couple of years ago, they've saved me time and time again. I think I was referring to my boots during the video. And then example number 1, perhaps I think I said, having had a look around, I realized the water can't be coming from here. But both are okay and acceptable. The meaning is minutely changed by adding had. So having a look around, I realized the water can't be coming from here, or having had a look around, I realized the water can't be coming from here. So having plus past participle and then the main clause. I do use modal verbs, and native speakers do use modal verbs quite a lot. So the structure would be the subject plus could have, which is the modal could, plus the past participle following. And the examples from the video were, I could have been brave and tried to get up that steep valley. And I also said I could have sat there all day, really, but I didn't. So we talk about past possibilities that did not happen. It expresses regret, relief, or alternative realities. And this is an essential structure for storytelling and reflection. Okay, so you're showing a high level of control over complex tense structures, particularly if you're delivering them with fluency. Okay, subject and could have and past participle. I could have been, I could have done, etc. All right, so narrative pacing and panning. Let's look at some spatial vocabulary. When I was describing panning around, to pan round the camera is very specific narrative description and good collocation as well, because panning and camera go very well together. I do pan round slowly to the left, and you can see where I've come from. Okay, so if you don't know the word pan round, have a look at it, or pan, and it is very, very strongly collocated with camera or camera shot or video or footage, something to do with filming. I also said I'm starting at the bottom, I'm working my way up towards the apex. Okay, so I'm demonstrating the ability to guide the listener's mental eye through a scene, right? I'm walking you through this scene descriptively using my language, using spatial vocabulary, and so on. Now, the last sentence I used was, I'm really skirting the boundaries. And I think I said I was on the periphery of it. The periphery is the edge or the boundary itself. The outskirts, maybe. I'm really skirting the boundaries on the periphery of it. Okay, so this is common language in high-level travel writing, documentaries, and descriptive essays. Okay, especially with narratives. So, lastly, let's have a look, a little test. Can you match the word to its meaning? And let's review the pronunciation. Word number 1, trepidatious. Trepidatious. Number 2, happenstance. Happenstance. Number 3, mooching. Mooching. Number 4, skirting. Skirting. All right, so what is trepidatious? In fact, you can comment on these, test yourself, and you can send me the answers. I will respond. Let's see how you do. You should be okay because the definitions are provided in this video. So to summarize, authentic video content is one of the most powerful tools for reaching C1 fluency because real language that I used without script and preparation is very well described as being messy, vivid, and alive. And I think my video and my language are probably ticking all of these boxes. Okay, pay attention to descriptive adjectives, the idioms that we talked about. Always learn your collocations. Pick up as many idioms and collocations as you can. But if you have to choose because of time restraints, focus on your collocations for C1, C2 levels. And watch your grammar, especially in a narrative, your perfect participles, your modals in the past, narrative pacing, and spatial vocabulary as well. There you are. That was really enjoyable for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the link at the in the description and you will be able to go back directly to the video from which all of this language has been drawn. Bye now.